But before we do that, I do want to get ready to bring in a special guest here. We'll bring him in ahead of our SEC through because I don't want to keep him waiting. That's former Georgia running back Keith Marshall, and we'll kind of keep some of this conversation going with Keith because when you talk about depth and you talk about chance to make a big impact in the field here this year, obviously one of the spots that you have a great chance to do that is the running back position. If you heard yesterday's show, we talked about what might be available for the Georgia running backs here this year in terms of some pretty rare statistical error they could achieve, and obviously helping this Georgia offense take a big step forward again in year 3 of Todd Monken. We think Georgia running backs lead the way in maybe being able to get that done. And one of the backs who we think of as getting his chance to do that is obviously Kendall Milton, who's waited his turn and kind of recovered from some injuries and really has that spotlight shining on this upcoming year as what has a chance to be a great year for him, and obviously also taking advantage of some of the really cool new NIL opportunities that are out there also, and creating opportunities for fans as he does that. And that's where the Players Lounge comes in. And our next guest is not just himself, a former very good Georgia running back, but also one of the important people there with the Players Lounge there as well. It's former Georgia running back Keith Marshall here on the program here today. Keith, thanks for being back with us. Congratulations on the continued success that the Players Lounge is enjoying. You obviously a big part of getting that up and running. So we're excited about hearing about the cool things you have going on. And obviously I know we're all looking forward to the start of the season, which is going to be here before you know it.
Absolutely, man. I appreciate you having me on. First and foremost, it's always good to talk to, the DGD family. And, super excited about the things we're doing with the Players Lounge. Obviously we have the Kendall Milton experience coming up here soon, and we're excited to talk more about that. And then we have some other things in the pipeline for the UGA community as we move into the season.
Yeah, the website's theplayerlounge.io. That's the place you can go to find out about the really fun Kendall Milton driving experience. We're going to talk more about the specific details about how folks can kind of bid for their chance to be a part of that. That's a really, really cool thing. We'll give you all the details on that here coming up in a couple of minutes. But before that, if you don't mind, let me talk about Milton on the field here, the position you know well, the running back spot. To me, we said this a lot on yesterday's show, that this is a position where even as much success as Georgia enjoyed in kind of a national championship year last season, there's actually, I think, a step forward this group can take this year. Obviously, we know that Kendall's been kind of biding his time on that and trying to get healthy again and kind of have the spotlight sort of on him in a bigger way. Kenny McIntosh in that there as well. You obviously know this position really well, given your history there at Georgia. What do you think of the outlook for Georgia at the running back spot here going into the season?
Obviously, to your point, I'm excited about it. I think there's an opportunity to take a step forward. Those guys have been in the system now for, 2 and 3 years. They've gotten some playing time and experience. As far as, raw physical ability, when you look at Kendall, he has everything you would want: strong, fast, good balance, breaks, tackles. And so I think it's really just going to come to the point where it's time to put all that together and go show it when the lights come on. And then McIntosh is a guy that I feel like has been extremely underrated over the last few years. I've said this multiple times, but he may be one of the most natural runners, just as far as his feel and flow for, how to get behind defenders, how to read his blockers, attacking the soft shoulder and things like that. So it's just extremely natural runner. So I'm excited for him to get the opportunity to get some more touches as well.
I think one of the things that is maybe different for this group now compared to like Georgia running backs of the recent past is that all of a sudden there's a much more potent passing attack here at UGA. Guys like Brock Bowers are, real targets when it comes to catching the football. And we think that Georgia wide receivers have a chance to take a step forward this year as well. And I think maybe in the old days, we sort of thought of, hey, you run the football to set up the pass, but gosh, in college football in 2022, I'm not quite so sure the opposite isn't true, that the teams that have respectable passing games just create wider running lanes for the running backs. And it seems like, Keith, and obviously, you know more about this than I do, having played the position, but it seems like to be a running back in an offense where the passing game has to be respected, all of a sudden that makes your job a whole lot easier, doesn't it?
There's no question about it. You're pulling some of those defenders out of the box. They have to defect the downfield, pass plays. And so, that definitely opens up those running lanes, as you alluded to. If you think back to 2012, 2013, when we really had, when I was involved and we had those things going, we had a great passing attack. We did a lot of play action pass, and that's, got us that vertical passing game that opened up those running lanes for those big touchdowns we were breaking back in the day. So I think you're absolutely spot on. We have the receivers out wide now. Obviously, Stetson's proven So we have all the pieces to be able to stretch the field and open up those lanes for Kendall and McIntosh and the rest of the backs to take advantage of.
Before we get into what specifically Kendall has going on through the Players Lounge and the creative ways in which the Players Lounge is making things fun for players and fans alike, I'm curious your perspective on this, that it seems like off seasons now for players are maybe different than they've ever been before, where they've just got more considerations. These are all good things. Is this the right program for me? Is this the NIL opportunities I'm taking advantage of? How am I maximizing my potential on that? But obviously in the midst of that, you don't want to lose sight if you're a player of, hey, going out there and maximizing my potential on the field so that these opportunities keep regenerating themselves, year after year. As someone who understands what it means to be a player, but also understands, players wanting to take advantage of all the opportunities that are available to them today. How do you think this time of year, the summer, the off season, how do you think that's changed for players in light of all the change that we see taking place around college football right now?
That's something I'm actually interested to see play out over the next couple of years. My perspective is you're basically, these kids are professionals earlier now. And I think even when I was back and playing before NIL and the transfer portal, I think, from a demand and with the coaches and with the programs were asking from us, was at the same level that you were expecting at professional, the professional level. But now it's different because you're managing your personal brand and you're able to elicit opportunities to monetize that and, take advantage of the opportunities there and then make sure you're in the best position, from being transferring to one school versus the other. These are all things that these kids are having to, kind of balance now that we didn't have the ability to. So I certainly think to add some complexity to your point, I think it's a good problem to have. And over the course of the next couple of years, I'm sure, some of the wild west is what we're calling it right now. Some of that will phase out and it'll become more structured so that everybody understands exactly how to navigate this new space.
So one of the cool things that's coming up is the Kendall Milton driving experience. And if folks check out the website, theplayerslounge.io, they can learn more about how they can bid for an opportunity on this. But I want to read from the site because I just think this is a great way to describe this. It's UGA legends, an open track, the ultimate driving machine, and you in the driver's seat. It sounds like so much fun. And, Keith, this is one of the things that we've talked about here a lot is that, hey, there are a lot of media fan types like us on this show that are having to try to make sense of all the new stuff that's out there. But one of the things that's undeniably true is the NIL opportunities that exist for players are also creating a level of access for fans that would not have existed before. And I think that's unquestionably a really good thing including this experience here, where if you're a verified member of the DGD Mafia, meaning if you're a part of what's already going on there at the Players Lounge, we'll talk about how folks can do that. You can also bid for a chance to be a part of this with Kendall. And so describe a little bit about what this experience is going to be like, and we'll kind of give some more of the details here about just the chance to drive a really cool car, be around some former dogs, current dogs, and everything else in between. This seems like a really amazing experience. Would you mind telling us a little bit more about what Kendall's got going on here?
Absolutely. So, to your point about, the advent of NIL and then kind of this Web3 craze that's taken on, and, part of what we wanted to do with this platform was really create an ecosystem that allowed players to interact with fans in a way that was ultimately authentic to them. And so Kendall came to us. He said he's a motorsport fan. He loves cars. And we had some relationships with BMW. So we took the idea of BMW and we said, hey, why don't we do a partnership? We bring Kendall out. We'll raffle off some NFTs and bring some people of our community out. It'll be good PR for you. It'll be an awesome opportunity for Kendall to do something that he's really excited about, something that he loves. And then we can also, continue to build his brand, because we can pull some of these fans in and let them share that experience with them. So when you talk about the opportunity that these NIL space provides for not just the athletes, but also for the fans, we're excited to see, ultimately, how this all plays out. But as a fan, to go, spend a day on the racetrack with the star Georgia running back, get to spend time talking to him, getting to know him outside of just, what you see on the field. I think it's a dream come true for the super fan. So we're excited to see how this thing works out.
It's June 26th. That's the date the event takes place. And you mentioned this. It's so true. Is there anything that is more connected right now, at least in my mind, than really good football players and really nice cars? It just seems like a lot of the recruiting pictures that you're seeing coming out of some of the official visits that are taking place this time of year, you're seeing a lot of those cars prominently used as props and some of that. I know a lot of the football players across the country are celebrating their own NIL deals with vehicles and things like that. And the fact that Kendall gets a chance with some fans to drive one of these really nice BMW vehicles as a part of his experience. It just seems like right now there is a pretty strong bond. There probably always has been, but I guess we're just more aware of it now. A very strong bond right now between really good football players and really nice and really fast, in most cases, cars.
Well, I think, growing up, just being a part of culture and following, hip hop and athletics, cars are a big part of that. Everybody wants a nice car. And so when you get to the position where you finally get some money, I'm thinking back to my time in the NFL, a lot of guys, first thing they go do is get a nice car. I fall in that category. That's the one thing I did buy. And so I agree 100% that now that these kids are getting paid earlier, they'll probably be driving around in some nice cars. And, that begs the question, is that the best use of money? But hey, if you work hard and you do the right thing, sometimes I think you get to treat yourself. So I think it's a great thing.
All right, so let me make sure we have all the specific details on this. So the first and foremost, if you want to be a part of this bidding opportunity, you've got to be a member of the Players Lounge first and foremost. So remind folks how they get into the DGD Mafia and get their chance to do this. Obviously, the website, theplayerslounge.io. But if you want to bid on this opportunity, because one person's going to get a chance to be with Kendall in the car, and they're going to be, 4 other folks. You also get a chance to be paired with UGA Letterman and surprise special guests. They're going to get their chance to be in a car with somebody pretty cool there as well. But for folks who want to bid on this, what is the specific process they need to go through to be able to do that?
Absolutely. So if you go to our website, as you mentioned, playerslounge.io, you click on our marketplace. If you're not a member, you can go grab a DGD, which basically serves as your ticket in order to participate in our community. There's some on the marketplace now for very respectable prices. And then you click the subscription button, or that you're interested in, being a part of the auction, which will actually take place on the 19th. So the auction will take place this Sunday. Okay. And then you'll get added to our email campaign, and we'll blast you with all the relevant information to make sure you're set up and ready to participate come the 19th.
And of course, that DGD, that's the NFT that the Players Lounge is going to put out here, that DGD token. That's how you get into this club here. And of course, in addition to the fun stuff coming up with Kendall, you guys have got great stuff going on all the time there as well.
Yes, sir. There's some other things that are on the pipeline. People, when you go to CPL and you see the experiences page, you'll see some of the other things that we have planned for some of our other athletes as a part of the Players Lounge. So, this is just the first of many.
Well, Keith, it's great to hear about the cool things you guys got going on. Congratulations on your continued success with this. I know this was a big vision that you had, and it seems like it's certainly playing out almost exactly like you imagined it probably would. This sounds like a great experience there with Kendall Milton. And so folks have a few more days to kind of get in and get their bid in before that kind of closes out, and then getting a chance to be a part of this great event there at the BMW driving experience there, the BMW Performance Center in Greer, South Carolina. So that's going to be a really, really fun thing. Exciting things coming up there on that. So the playerslounge.io, that's the place to go to find out more about that. Keith, thanks for being here today. Best of luck as these type of events continue to roll on. We'll look forward to hopefully getting a chance to talk to you very soon as well.
Absolutely, man. I appreciate you having me on. I always enjoy it.
Good stuff there from Keith Marshall.